Welcome back. This section is the Community Resource Partner, and tonight it's the Kentucky Blood Center. And my guest is Miss Martha Osborne. Now, I told you I wasn't going to get your title out. Tell me again what it is.
Executive Director of Marketing and Recruitment.
All right, and you said get the donors in is what your job is.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
When I started the show, I also said the Central Kentucky Blood Center, but that's no longer the case. You're all over the place.
We are from Pikeville to Paducah. In 2017, we'll become the sole provider for the whole Baptist health system in Kentucky, which means we'll be supplying hospitals in Paducah as well as Baptist Louisville and Baptist LaGrange. So we're very excited about that. And yes, we are Kentucky Blood Center. We're your local blood center. And we take care of all of Kentucky.
Across the state entirely.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
And you think about giving blood, it's, okay, it's an easy operation. I just go in, I just give blood, and that's all there is to it. But it's really a big operation. A lot has to happen.
A lot has to happen, starting with talking about it and getting donors to come in and donate, all the way through the donation process. Then the blood is processed here in Lexington. Everything that's collected here in Kentucky comes to Lexington and is processed and then redistributed into Kentucky hospitals. And then it's distributed out, and then the doctors have a chance to transfuse it and save lives.
Well, that's good, but you talked about processing the blood. People are worried, am I going to catch something from getting a blood transfusion? But really, it's a safe process, and you do a lot of screening.
We do. It's a very safe process. You go through a little health history screening. We ask every donor lots of questions about their health history. We also do a little mini physical with a blood pressure check, a temperature pulse. We do a finger stick on every donor to make sure their hemoglobin is okay.
And hemoglobin's their blood count.
Your blood count. Make sure you're not anemic or anything like that. Then once you've donated, you can feel pretty healthy that you're a healthy person, but also that you saved a life. And then when we take the blood back into our laboratories, we separate it into component parts like red cells and platelets and plasma, and tubes actually go off for testing, and we do 14 different tests on every unit of blood. So it's quite a process from the time you donate to the time it's actually going to a hospital. Can be 48 to 72 hours.
There's a lot of infectious disease you test for, and you can tell me a little bit about what those are. And you also mentioned you're even checking West Nile and Zika.
Zika is our latest test mandated by the FDA. We started that about 6 weeks ago, and there's lots of emerging threats that we stay on top of and take care of the testing as needed.
Routine screening for HIV,
hepatitis, syphilis, a whole battery of tests, and also we do a blood typing, so you'll know your blood type. If you've never donated, it's a great way to find out your blood type.
So you can be sure if you need some blood, which you hope you don't, but if you need, it's been safely screened and it's safe to take.
That's absolutely true. We do follow every FDA guideline when it comes to the collection and testing and distribution of blood in Kentucky.
Now, you mentioned wintertime is a hard time, or at least holiday time. You really need some donors, and you've got some programs going on to maybe attract some, and you even brought a sweatshirt.
Yeah, we do. This is about our 4th year for doing these great sweatshirts. It's a hoodie, and we say warm your winter with this warm sweatshirt. Donors who give between January 1st and January 10th will receive that, and that's all over our service area. So if you give in Pikeville or Somerset or at our donor center in Louisville or 2 donor centers here in Lexington or any of our mobile blood drives, you'll receive this great sweatshirt. So, and it helps us to make sure, it helps recognize people that do take the time to donate, and helps us make sure that there is enough blood on the shelves for all the patients who need it.
Now, is there a certain type of blood or a type of person that you want to give, or that, for that matter, that you don't want to give?
That's a great question. All blood types are needed, particularly O positive and O negative. O negative, as you know, is the universal donor, considered the universal donor. So that's what gets transfused in the case of an emergency and traumas when there may not be time to do a blood typing. But all blood types are needed. The type that you don't have is what you need the most. So we want everyone to give it a try. And if you're in good general health, and you've never tried it before, you should at least try it once. If you haven't given in the last 56 days, we encourage you to come out, help us make sure there's enough blood on the shelves.
Come out where? Tell us how to do that.
Well, check our website, kybloodcenter.org. You'll find a listing of all of our fixed donor centers, and the 2 here in Lexington are at Beaumont Center and on Maple Leaf Drive in the Andover shops.
That's great information. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for the safe.